Hello, I'm Debs. This is Debs Made This. Welcome. These are my July makes. So I thought I'd better get on and film this before we get to the end of August, and then the chances of me doing July makes goes out the window. So you've seen some of these before on Friday Sews, so I'm not going to spend ages on lots of them, and one of them I'm going to do a review on. So again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, so I'm going to try and be reasonably brief. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're enjoying this variable weather in the UK, or more consistent weather if you're elsewhere, and that you're getting a bit of sewing done. So the first one, this feels really old now because I think this was probably made right at the start of July. So this is the assembly line cuff sleeve top, which is a pattern that I didn't make for ages because I refused to pay the amount of money that the paper pattern was. Then it came up on eBay, I think, and I bought it. And it was cut to a size large, and I was in between a medium and a large. And I think I made the medium. I think this is the medium. I didn't do any adjustments apart from to get rid of it. It has a centre front seam, and I got rid of that, and that's an option in the pattern. But just because I didn't want to have to faddle about with pattern matching, because I didn't have very much of this fabric, and I wanted to make use of the majority of it. This fabric is from Sarah at Simple Life Fabrics, and I have forgotten the name of the designer, but you know who it is. This is really nice viscose with these gorgeous prints on it that was really reasonably priced. And I nearly didn't buy this. I did buy another version of this and made my friends some pajamas, but this was kind of the brighter version. But I'm so glad I made this, and I've loved wearing it, even though it's not strictly in my colours. I know I haven't done that video. This is a really straightforward pattern. It has two pattern pieces. It's got a grown on sleeve, which you can see is kind of like a batwing style one. And then it has elastic that goes in the cuff that's kind of turned under. There's a facing, there's a facing which is cut in the round, and you seam it at the back. So there's a facing under there as well, which give you this boat neckline. So I like this better than I was expecting to. As I was making it, I was a bit worried the fact that it didn't have, most of what I like wearing has got V neckline or scoop neckline. So this is a much higher neckline for me. I should have, and I have on the subsequent one, done a forward shoulder adjustment. So I have done, and it's not a difficult thing to do. If you want me to show you how to do that on this kind of top, I'm quite happy to do that. But if I can find a blog, I'll link to one down below. But yeah, so the second one fits a bit better, but in this drapey fabric, I think it's fine. It doesn't seem to pull too badly on me. So this is a definite success. When I made one in August, and I'll show you that next month, I did size down again, and I have made some modifications to the pattern. So, but yes, this is a definite win. I'll just show you the back. So there is a seam down the centre back, and I chose to top stitch that. Again, because I couldn't pattern match it because I didn't have any fabric left, I thought I may as well make a feature of the fact that there was a seam there. This is the length of the pattern. It's got a wide hemband, and I've worn it in this floaty fabric. It's fine, tucked in as well as out, and I've worn it loads with my chanterelles, with my oxbows, main things. Oh, and I've got a pair of Nelly jogger shorts, which I don't think I've got a picture of, and I've worn it with that as well, just because it's the same kind of blue colour. There are 10 makes in total, so that was number one, but some of them are duplicates. So the next one I'm going to come on to, I've spoken about before, is the Travertine top from Closet Core Patterns. So this is their crew pattern, so you can only get this now if you subscribe at their all access rate. And as I said before, I think the Blommer tank is a free pattern that would give you a really similar look. So I have done this this was my toile in this remnant of blue fabric, and I've hardly worn that actually, which is interesting because it's all my colours, and yet I don't reach for it. Whereas this one this is a viscose jersey that came from Katie at So. She has a sale on. I'll link her website down below. Could you bob over and have a look, because she has some really beautiful things and she's got a good sale, and I'm trying to be good and not buy any fabric. I shouldn't say that, should I? I'm trying to do the 30-yard challenge, although I do 30 metres, which started on the 7th of August, so I'm not going to capitulate before we even get a week in. So yeah, And this is the other one. So this is a really lovely fabric. It's lovely and drapey. I got this, squeaked this out of 1/2 metre of this fabric. It has a seam up the back, so it kind of lends itself really well to kind of using up your scraps as long as you know what your direction is. It just needs quite a lot of stretch. And this time round, the pattern would have you use a seam tape on the bands, but I didn't do that this time round. In fact, what I did was use Maraflex thread. So I construct my main seams using Maraflex threads, but then I still do an overlock as well. I just find it makes my knit garments last longer. So yeah, are you team sew it on the sewing machine, team overlocker, or a bit of both? And do you like your Maraflex? I love my Maraflex. Actually, if I can find one, I'll pop a picture because I have like a spool of it. So I've got like a really big volume of it, so it's less expensive. And then my husband has made me like a spool holder to feed it into the sewing machine, so the sewing machine likes it too. 4 is a single, which is not going to show up, but just take my word for it, these have been fab. This is the Helens Closet Avery leggings. It currently has, there may be peg marks on it because I've just taken it off the line. This is made in a bamboo jersey, which is lovely and soft and stretchy and cool. The Helens Closet one is good because it has a triangular gusset piece. I looked at I have the paper, I have like a printed out PDF version of this. And it didn't seem to go up to a very large size range, but I know Helen's really size inclusive, so I'm sure she's adjusted that. You are called to put, I don't know if I did it or not, she calls you to put like skinny elastic just in the top of that yoga waistband. There is another waistband that's lower, but I find this one more comfortable. I think it feels like I have, but who knows? No, I think I have. But I might have actually, you know what I've done? I've used swimwear elastic, so it's kind of very thin, but just to give it an extra bit. But that was basically when we were having that awful weather in the UK. I wanted something to layer up my dresses and skirts with. So yes, that's had tons of wear already, although not now because now it's warm. So that's make number 2, 3, 4. Okay, next we have got 2 swimming costumes and 2 bags, and then I've got 1 accessory that's atypical and something else to share. Coming on to the swim. So I sew quite a lot of swimwear because I swim quite a lot. This year I've swum less than I've ever swum, mostly because everything's a bit complicated this year. But so I've only made these 2. If I had been swimming my normal amount, I might have made another one as well. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the rest of the summer holds. So bear with me. These are both the same pattern. These are the Helens Closet Swimstar swimming costume, and it comes as either a 1-piece or a 2-piece. I need my notes because I'm going to forget. So in Helen's Closet, I am in this pattern, a 12 in the top, a 14 at the waist, and a 16 at the hip. I think that's right. So I did that. I graded those pattern changes onto the pattern pieces. I will do a full review of this pattern because I've got some things to say about it. So I'll try and record that later today or tomorrow. So that should be coming up soon. But the first one I've made is what would normally make it in. So which is this, I've got this nylon 12 fabric, which was really, really cheap. And when it came, I was really upset, but actually it's been fine because I've been able to make things in it. I've done the lining, I've done like a soft power net, so it's not like a structured power mesh, it's soft, and so it isn't too kind of limiting in terms of stretch. So there's good stretch in both directions on both of those fabrics, and that's the key for me, having a comfortable cosy. I know some people like to line it with something a bit more structured to kind of suck them in, but that's not really my vibe. There is a seam across. I'll put a picture of me wearing this. I think I've shown that to you before, but so there's a seam across the waist, which is quite visible actually in a plain fabric, and I think is less visible in the patterned fabric. I think did I make a mistake and put the elastic on the wrong side and then turned it over again? Yeah, so I think what I've done is done another turn in under of the edging on this one. So when you look at the pictures, there's an extra kind of probably 1/2 centimetre or a centimetre that I've turned it under. So it would normally be a little bit wider than that. So this has been worn and I've loved wearing this. It's very comfortable. And so this was my toile. And then I did a rookie error. I mean, I've said I've sewn a lot of swimwear fabric. I should remember that all swimwear is not the same. And especially, I think when it comes to expensive swimwear and expensive lining. So this is Liberty Swimwear and proper swimwear lining, which is that nude colour. I did everything the same. Yeah, and this has turned out well. It's just not quite as stretchy in the seams as the other one. So when I put it on and I'm not in the water, I feel like it just digs in a tiny bit at the side. I could probably unpick it and give myself a little bit more room, but I mean, you can see it does stretch definitely. And in the water, it's fine. So I think it's okay. I shall include a picture from, I think it's Criccieth Beach in Wales, where we were recently. Checking out that it works all right in the water. And as always, the bits that didn't work on the toile worked fine, and the bits that did work on the toile didn't work quite so well. But anyway, there'll be a review of that coming up shortly, but I do love it. And we may as well carry on with the swimming related things. So this is probably not of interest to anybody apart from people who swim. So I've made a little carry swim bag. So I've made this out of a remnant of some soft shell, remnants of webbing and some drawstring that I had. And this is made to kind of carry my stuff. You can see my towel and my goggles and things are in there, but also it opens right out so that you can stand on it. And I've made, hang on a minute, I'll empty it and show you the inside. Through a phase of making quite a lot of relatives of mine waterproof kind of hoodie style coats. So they all play different sports outside or swim outside. So I've made several. So I had quite a lot of soft shell left. So what I've done is made a circle, put a drawstring in the outside, and then put pockets in it to put my goggles, my swimming costume, and my booties in. So I've got all my bits and pieces. This is version number 1, and there's likely to be another one that's slightly bigger and has a different modification of the drawstring. I mean, you can buy things like this, but they cost like, I don't know, maybe 80 English pounds, which is such a lot of money. So I just thought I'd got these bits of soft shell that I wasn't going to do anything with, and I thought I would try this. And I think for my summer kit, this works fine. If I was going to do it for my winter kit, because you need more layers, I would need a slightly bigger version of this. So I kind of have some ideas to modify it, but this is fine for now. So yes, that's the first bag that I made. And the second bag is one that was on my summer plans. I've just had to empty this because this has been my everyday handbag for recently. So this is the So Liberated LOF. So cool because it is egg-shaped. I'll link down below. I've forgotten again. I think she's called Littlest Stitches or something. The webbing and the really nice zips came from there. And it has this really nice curved pocket on the outside and then a zipped pocket on the other side. I interfaced some of it, but not doesn't tell you to interface like that top part. So that one's not. So I might do that next time, actually. Sorry, it's got receipts and things, and you can tell it's been an everyday user, and as bits of beach fall out of it. So you can see inside I have used the remnants of my lovely Lion and Coyote fabric. You hand stitch the binding, so that's done in like a yellow satin, and then there's a little pocket on the inside there. Oh, free money, excellent. Yeah, so I'm delighted with this. I think I'll probably make some of these for presents. And in fact, I bought some bag hardware when I popped into Empress Mills recently. So I bought some bag hardware because my thought was what it would be nice to do is to attach this part, make it out of the body fabric, and then have a clip so that you could change the webbing strap, A, to wash it, because you don't really want to be washing your webbing, I don't think, but B, so that you could kind of change it depending on what outfit you were wearing. But I don't know whether I'm overthinking it. Maybe people aren't bothered for things like that, but I just thought that that might be a nice thing to do if I was going to give it as a present. Anyway, so that's been worn loads and is wearing really well. I'm really pleased with that. And I love how kind of cohesive it feels when I've got on my Oxbows and then this on. And then I know that I match inside, but nobody else does. But there you go. That might just be a Deb thing, hey? The next one is a slightly odd one, and I'm sure feel free to skip past this one. So what I made was a variation of this, which is called the Bark Avenue, which is a simplicity pattern. I got this from Hobbycraft. Basically because I was going to draft it and then I couldn't really be bothered, so I thought, well, I'd get that version. So, but I have changed it. So this is not for my dog. This is for my dog's best friend, if that's a thing, who he goes rampaging in the fields with. She's called Senga, and she's a Bedlington Terrier Lurcher Cross, and she's got really fine fur, a bit like candy floss. So if there's seeds about, they all get trapped in her fur, and then it takes her owner ages to like take the seeds out. So I was like, well, there must be something I can do. So what I've done is to make her kind of a baby grow, really, in the end. So I've made this, but made it in t-shirt jersey, and then done ribbing on the cuffs. And then I left off the cuff at the neck. And what I'm going to do is when I make her next one, I'm going to just extend that a little bit, but we've just left it kind of bare at the edge. I'll put in a picture of the line drawing so you can see, but I don't know that you'll see it like that, but that's worked really well. So it has kind of an empty tummy. You put their legs through the cuffed things, and I think it's been really helpful for them. So that was a foray. I have made dog coats and things before, but not kind of getting my brain around the different dimensions, because she's little, but she's quite long bodied. And in the end, I had to add 12 centimeters or something to the length. So I just cut it, put a piece that was 12 centimeters in, and then sewed it back up again. But I'll with her owner's permission, I'll put a little picture so that you can see what Senga looks like in her seed suit. And my last make before I share my acquisition is what I'm wearing. I'd forgotten about this. I have briefly talked about this in a Friday Sews, I think. This is a Reeta Shirtdress, which is a named clothing pattern. They draft for 5'8", and I am not 5'8". I am 5'5" and a bit. So I took some height out of here, and I took some height out of here. I think 2 centimeters of either. You stitch in like a facing inside to thread your drawstring through, and mine was still a little bit too low, so I probably need to take out another 1.5 centimeters or so. I also, when I'd finished, took 1.5 centimeters off the shoulders and put the sleeves back in again. And in the end, after wearing it for a couple of times, I've now raised the pockets probably 2 inches, I would think. I just felt a bit kind of slouchy and not very well put together. So it's bizarre, isn't it, that having the pockets in a different place, even though they're not even a different colour, I feel much better with them being raised. So yeah, if you are feeling off about a pattern, always think about whether you need to tweak the shoulder fit, tweak the pocket placement, because often it's the proportions that are wonky, especially when a pattern is drafted for somebody who's taller than you. So I'm really pleased with this. I keep reaching for pockets that aren't there, but then I do quite like the fact that it's quite a kind of slim silhouette. It's fairly straight-ish skirt, and then it has side slits. So I've been wearing this either with my pumps or I've got a pair of red clogs, which are Lotta from Stockholm clogs. I'll put a picture if I can find one. So I've been wearing it with that, and yeah, I mean it's a viscose linen fabric. I can't remember where it came from, but it's a Little Johnny Makes fabric. I don't know. It was kind of last year, I think, so whether it's still about. It's quite warm, but it was warmer than I was expecting it to be. I thought this would be a really cool make to kind of waft about in, but actually I feel quite warm in it. So it doesn't mean it hasn't had wear, because obviously we're in the UK. So yes, let me know what you think. Now I'm going to do the voiceover and then I'll put the pictures in, so hopefully they may cover my face for a little while. So the next thing is something that my husband obtained. So I have got a bit of a love relationship with vintage sewing machines, and I like kind of trying them out. And I will do a series of the ones that I've obtained. Some of them I've given on or sold on, but I still have a few that we could kind of go through. So if that's something that interests you, would you let me know? I'll probably put it all together in one video, and then if you don't want to watch it, that's fine. But the one that I've obtained recently is called a Jones sewing machine. So that's an English maker sewing machine, and this one is from 1983, I think. If I've got that wrong, I'll put it down below, but I shall show you some pictures. So it's baby blue, and it's just got really nice styling. It's a really nice thing. I don't think I've sewed anything in earnest on it. So what I might do, the next woven make that I make, I may well sew on that, and then maybe I could show you how it's sewing and stitching and all the rest of it. Yeah, it's just really interesting. So having kind of I've got a lot of vintage Boninas and the like, to see other makes of a similar age and see how they've solved some of the mechanical or engineering issues that were evolving as sewing machines were evolving, because obviously they evolved very separately at that point. It wasn't like everybody was connected together so well. So it's been really interesting, but it's a lovely thing. But it's quite interesting that it was him that wanted to buy the sewing machine rather than me, because he wanted to see the mechanics. But there you go. So I think that's it. So that's a whistle-stop tour through my July makes. Let me know what your favourite thing that you've made recently is, and let me know if any of those float your boat. I promise the Swimstar review will be coming as soon as I can, and I'll keep kind of cracking on with my summer sewing plans. I hope wherever you are in the world, you are finding time to rest and replenish and do some making if that's something that brings you joy. And I shall see you again soon. Bye for now. God bless.